Trump's Treasury just fired the woman who said his $250 bill was illegal. And the guy who replaced her? Well, it's the same guy who's been pushing the illegal bill. So here's what happened. For the past year, two of Trump's Treasury appointees, U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach and his senior advisor Mike Brown, they've been pushing the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to design prototypes of a new $250 bill with Trump's face on. Right, Trump everything. Trump Tower, Trump Pharmacy, Trump Institute of Peace, and now Trump money. And they started handing staff their own mock-ups last August. But there's a few problems with this. Federal laws banned living people from appearing on U.S. currency since 1866, so this would actually be the first time in 150 years. There's also no $250 denomination authorized to be printed, and new bills typically take 6 to 8 years to produce, which is a problem if you're trying to release it for America's 250th birthday. And the Bureau's director, Patricia Solomon, a 24-year-old Army vet and the first woman to ever hold the job, she kept telling them this. The note wasn't authorized, they couldn't move forward, and that was not great for her career. On April 27th, all of a sudden she gets reassigned. In her farewell email, it said the move was not my choice and ended with, "The buck stopped here." And then Mike Brown, the same Trump appointee who had been pushing for the illegal bill, he got her job. Because that's just how things work now. You do your job correctly, and you get replaced with a loyalist so Trump can have his face on some money.
A huge earthquake has just hit one of the most populated countries in Asia, and the videos coming out are insane. Bro, just imagine being a construction worker on the side of a building as this hits. Now, at least 5 people have been killed, numerous others have been injured, and entire buildings were reduced to rubble after a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the southern coast of the Philippines this morning. And not only is this the strongest earthquake to hit the country in over 40 years, but the timing is horrendous because it struck the same day that millions of Filipino students were heading to school for the very first day of their new academic year. Now, this earthquake has also triggered tsunami waves in the country as high as 4.6 feet, meaning several neighboring countries like Japan, Indonesia, and Australia have also had to issue tsunami warnings of their own. Oh, and this is all just the day after Japan, their neighbors, had a massive volcano eruption. So yeah, as things develop, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yo, and we are live. Yo, this is S.E.T Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, guys, about to jump right into a quick little media analysis. Then I'm going to take a break, and then we'll come back in for another one. But, guys, let's make sure we keep those people in the Philippines in your prayers because, of course, like I said, they got, as you've seen, they got hit with a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. So, like I said, keep them in your prayers, but let's go ahead and get into it with JD Vance on Fox News with Jesse Waters, guys. And don't forget to like the video or double tap that screen. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Lebanon.
Well, look, I think obviously the Israelis and the Israelis and the United States, we have a lot of shared interests, but we also have some situations where our interests diverge. And I think where the president has been very clear here is that while Israel obviously has some objectives that it has, the United States' main objective in Iran is to ensure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. And we've actually, thanks to what's happened over the last few months, but really over the last year and a half, we've created the space necessary where the president believes, and I think that he's right, that we can get the long-term settlement to Iran's nuclear deal. Now, Israel may like that, they may not like that, but fundamentally, we think this is in the best interest of the United States of America. Yeah. So we're going to keep on pursuing it because that's what the president of the United States was elected to do.
Yeah, what's in our best interest is getting under control their enriched uranium. Not their proxies, not their missile capabilities. We can leave that up to Israel. Let's make sure we handle our interest and then leave out. And if Israel want to go ahead and pop off with Iran, let them have their one-on-one. But I like where Trump is going right now. He's pretty much telling Bibi, like, yo, you could do this on your own if you go ahead and retaliate to Iran a little bit too, heavy-handedly. And I get what a lot of the pro-Israel guys are saying. Are you saying that Iran does? I mean, you saying that Israel have a right to defend themselves? Well, they do, but I mean, if they defend themselves, then Iran's going to decimate them, and we're not going to help them. Well, the way Trump is signaling, we may not help them.
Dude, that's what we have to do in order to properly serve the American people.
Do you think the Iranians are trying to play us at the negotiating table?
Well, I think, Jesse, everybody's always trying to play everybody. I think the president's attitude on this is We have to verify, of course. One of the most important things to whether this ultimate settlement is a success is not what the Iranians write on the paper, but whether they actually comply with some of the requirements of the settlement that we come up to. I think it's very important, and this is one of the big differences. You always hear people talk about the Obama deal and what went wrong with it. The number one thing that went wrong with the Obama deal, Jesse, is that there was not a proper inspections regime to ensure that the Iranians could never build a nuclear weapon. And that's one of the big differences between what happened then and what the President of the United States would get to, assuming we're ultimately.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It did ensure that the Iranians weren't going to be at 60%. That's the problem here. Is like we did have an inspection. We did have eyes on their enrichment program. And all of a sudden, we just threw that away for, well, nothing. I mean, let's be honest. When Trump got out of the JCPOA, did that help with Iran's enriched uranium? No, actually, it made it worse. Remember, under the JCPOA, they was enriching at 3%. Outside of it, then they hit 20. Once we hit a couple of acts of aggressions upon them in 2021, now they're at 60. So it kind of seems like if we'd have stayed under that deal, that kind of solved the problem of, well, the enriched uranium, and it'd probably stayed at that 3% instead of getting to 60. And it might be more because, you know, word on the global streets is that Iran might actually have a nuke at this point, or they've already enriched at that 90%.
Able to make a deal. So I don't assume that anybody's acting in good faith. Obviously, we've been very involved in these negotiations, Jesse. We're going to take the attitude of accomplish the president's mission, but verify over the long term that the Iranians are keeping their end of the bargain. It's a tall order, but it's one that the president has put us in a good position to achieve, because let's be honest, Jesse, the Iranians don't want this war to continue. It's not in their best interest. And I think they're coming to the table, putting some real things on the table. We're, of course, going to verify it. But if we get to this deal, it's going to be a home run win for the American people.
I hope so. Let's go to California. Not sure how closely you've been following this. They are still.
No, here's the thing. Like, honestly, both sides want this war to be over with. We want the war to be over with. We want to get the Strait open without Iran having any type of control over it. I mean, we also want to get control of their enriched uranium. And I mean, here's the thing, though. We might actually have to make a deal we don't want to make. And it's going to look kind of Obama-ish. You know, it's going to involve, you know, unfrozen Iranian money, assets that's going to go right to them to where they can fund their missiles and proxies, as, you know, the opposing, which is the opposing argument towards it. And that's honestly a reasonable argument is, yeah, if we give them money, most likely, reasonably so, they might go ahead and fund their proxies and up their missile capability, or they can just, you know, rebuild their infrastructure that we just got done laying waste to, because Lord knows we're not going to give them reparations.
Counting the votes. Do you trust this election?
Fundamentally, the problem here with this whole thing is, how is it that you had, you know, Karen Bass was in first place, Spencer Pratt was in second place, and then this other woman was in third place? You would expect these mail-in ballots to kind of meet that same basic pattern where, you know, number one would get the most votes, number two would get the second most votes, and so on. But somehow we find ourselves in a situation where, number one, they're still receiving ballots, not just counting ballots, Jesse. They're still receiving ballots. And number two, the way that they're coming in just so happens to work out such that the Republican is getting kicked out of the final two. So it's a Democrat versus Democrat runoff. That seems pretty shady to me, especially when you add on top of the fact that in California, you are prohibited from asking for somebody's identification before they vote.
And we just found out through the U.S. attorney there that you can register to vote with a gym membership card. How ridiculous is that?
Well, and of course, we know that that gold.
Like, oh, you have a gym membership. You must be a citizen, as if an illegal can't pay that, what, $39.99 at a cost for a gym membership these days. Well, at least if you want to go to a nice one. Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. If you've got any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. You can just send a Venmo or a super chat. All right, guys, let's get right back to it.
Old Jim would probably hand out a gym membership to anybody who's willing to pay, including, for example, an illegal alien. We joke about this, Jesse, but that's why these elections don't have the legitimacy they need, is because if you're going to give a card to anybody who's willing to pay $10 a month for a gym membership, then you're not actually going to ensure that that person is legitimately able to vote. This is why we have, for example, photo ID to get on an airplane so that airplane rides are safe. This is why we have photo ID to purchase alcohol to ensure that you're the proper age. It's insane that we have a state not only that doesn't ask for your identification, but will throw you in jail if you're an elections official who is asking for identification.
So you're the fraud czar now. House Oversight just came out with a report that said that Tim Walz was warned repeatedly that there was fraud, and he kept the money flowing because he didn't want to be called racist. That sounds like a crime to me. Is that a crime?
I mean,
well, I'm going to let the law determine what's a crime.
I mean, if negligence is a crime, then for sure, it is definitely a crime. And here's the thing, it does look like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it kind of looks like that the Somalian community, I'm not trying to throw the entirety of the Somali people under the bus, but this community in this specific place in Minneapolis actually had pretty strong control on that voting block. AKA, they're like, look, if you mess with us too much, you get in the way of our fraud, we can make sure we vote you out for somebody who is going to deal with our fraud. Do you get what's going on here? Like, guys, some of these guys who were committing fraud, as it was at the celebration party of Jacob Fry, which is the mayor. So think about it like this. These guys are pretty much getting in because they're allowing the fraud to happen. And that's what not a lot of people want to touch on. I mean, people want to think that, oh, no, they're just that slick and cunning. And yes, somewhat. But to be quite honest with you, it's because officials are allowing them to do so. I mean, all they had to do is run a couple inspections and they'd have caught these guys up years ago. But due to negligence, purposeful negligence, in my opinion, they was able to get away with this for a while.
And what's not. We're certainly going to investigate this, Jesse. And I guess now I can make a bit of breaking news because I left the White House to come here to do this interview with you. And before I did, we actually referred this particular case to the Department of Justice for a full criminal investigation. We are not going to do what the Biden administration did and make judgments of the law before all the facts are in. But here's what's particularly troubling about this to me is Jesse, you had people within Governor Walz's office who were saying, you know what? This looks like fraud. It looks like these Somalian illegal immigrants are doing something that's very shady. And then you had people who shut them down, who shut these whistleblowers down and said, you know, you're a racist or you're a xenophobe for asking questions about where taxpayer money is going.
Oh, guys, do me a favor and double tap that screen like the video. And if you're on the horizontal, make sure to smash that like button, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen or smashing that like button.
What that means to me, Jesse, is that clearly people weren't taking fraud seriously. Whether it rises to the level of a criminal violation, we're going to investigate it. And of course, if it does rise to that level, we're going to prosecute it. We have to.
Yeah, it's so offensive because some of these guys are riding around in Bentleys and Maseratis, and the American taxpayer, you got to take it from me, they are livid about this kind of stuff. The midterm elections right around the corner. The Democrats have nominated Tallarico and Plattner to win back men, Mr. Vice President. Is that going to work?
I'm probably the worst person to ask how the Democrats can win votes, Jesse. But look, what my free political advice to Democrats is very simple.
The problem is going to be hard to win back men when the Democratic Party is literally ran by, socialist leftist women. Like, let's just keep it real. It's going to be really hard to win back guys on that. I mean, I'm sure some guys will go, but most of us is going to reject that. Just saying. And I'm saying this as a guy in the center, at least center right, but still, it's like most of us are going to reject that unless you guys can somehow change your ways or have a new form of leadership or actually have a damn plan for us. I don't know, write out a plan that sounds reasonable or that sounds like it'll have some type of results instead of just crying about Trump all day. I'm willing to listen. I'm a reasonable guy. But all right, guys, let's get to the next video here because as CNN debates on Trump storming out of that NBC interview, what was it? He got mad over the I think it was the lady was pressing him on election fraud, on him believing that the 2020 election was stolen, that he said there's election fraud going on in California without no proof, they said, but we'll see. I think he watched that Nick Shirley video and he was like, ain't no damn way. And here's the thing, that Nick Shirley video did expose a lot and how easy it is to get away with voter fraud.
Two to three times a week. This was a great interview.
Storm out of
Oh, no,
interviews?
absolutely. Because the president's base and most of the country still views the mainstream media as very biased against them. They feel very demonized by the media. They feel very misunderstood by the media. They don't feel like
But
the
that wasn't the
mainstream
question
media
I asked. I asked
has
why
done
won't
enough
he present
to try
the
to
actual proof of the
understand
thing that he's claiming?
Can I talk about that? Because that's always the comeback. Where's the evidence?
Yeah, because
the evidence is this.
If you're going to claim fraud, there should be some evidence.
Okay.
That's
the
why.
evidence is this. You have a California system that enables fraud to happen easily. You don't have voter ID. You have mass mail-out ballots. You have voter harvesting.
That's not evidence. That's
time out.
That's just a description
Can I
of,
just
of
like
an
finish?
electoral system.
It's an electoral system that's ripe for fraud.
Ripe for fraud. It's not fraud.
And then you
that
have
is not fraud.
no, but then you have statistical anomalies where you have Rahman, who was third place, was good, getting 20% of the vote, and then the vote after the election day, she gets 40% of the vote.
I mean, all right, look, I get what they're saying. Like, all right, yeah, but you guys are not coming with no real evidence. But I'm like, hold on now. Even you guys understand that the voting process in California is full of loopholes. And the fact that everybody know about these loopholes, don't you think this is an open door, open window for fraud? Like, can we at least address that and not try to sit there and bash the Republicans on, oh, you guys are always talking about election fraud, but then here we are addressing the fact that, yeah, there's a whole lot of holes in our election process, especially in California.
Speculation is also not true.
Hold on just 1 second, because I just want
infuriating to watch people try to make speculation into proof.
We are going to spend
it's not speculation, that's data.
Segment.
That is not data.
We're going to spend a whole segment on the California race in just a moment. So we're going to talk through some of the stuff that you're talking about there. But I actually think that we can boil it down much more simply than this. Trump falsely believes that he won the 2020 election, that he lost. When he is challenged on that, he gets upset and he storms out of an interview. Explain that one.
They were talking about the mayoral race in California, and he was talking about the fraud there, the rigged election there.
Okay.
That's what they were talking
rigged?
about.
You believe it's rigged?
I do believe it's rigged.
I'm sorry, but if we all know the 2020 election is a soft spot for Trump, like, let's just keep it real.
Oh my God. We can wrap this show up.
100% rigged.
We can wrap this show up.
He also was talking about his favorite obsession, which is 2020.
What's that?
In that exchange, he also was talking about the election that he lost in 2020.
Well, he talked about the 95%. He also got mad because he has 90%.
What's the explanation for that?
95% negative press coverage. He's sitting there in a negative press interview.
What does press conference have to do with the fact that she asked for proof of fraud?
Here's the thing about the president. When he was candidate Trump and they had the primary and he lost to Ted Cruz, the first thing he said was it was rigged. And he insisted that the state officials change the actual results of that primary. You remember that. And Ted Cruz was very upset by that because he called Ted.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. No, there is no proof of election fraud. Remember, fraud means like there's an intent to, play the system, finesse the system. Now, with California, we do got to be honest and sit here, and there are loopholes where people who aren't citizens, and people who aren't even really human, that can vote in California. There are loopholes, or there are pretty much points of neglection to where people can get through like that. So we can't really say that's done with an intentionality to pretty much overthrow the election, but we can sit there and say that, all right, well, there could be some goofy people who could do some really goofy things due to these loopholes in our election process, especially the one in California where they don't really check your citizenship. Like, we got to keep it honest with that one. And I mean, like I said, it doesn't say it's not election fraud, but it is the neglection of election integrity.
Ted Cruz a liar. That was what, 10 years ago. So to characterize this conversation without an understanding of who he has been, I think is unfair to the conversation we're supposed to be having now. He's always done this.
Caroline also suggested that Trump loves taking tough questions, but here is his very real history of not taking tough questions that he doesn't like. Listen.
Your first statement was, are you ready for tough questions?
Are you?
That's no way to talk.
Wait,
it's no way to talk. I think we have enough of an interview here, Hope. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. Let's go.
The only way it's not going to happen again is you have to solve the problem of the presidential rigged election of 2020.
Mr.
Steve,
President,
thank
if
you
I
very much.
one more question.
The woman that you said was a great doctor in that video that you retweeted last night said that masks don't work and there is a cure.
Okay, and somebody wanted it to be goofy. So, hey, yo, Tommy, I got you, dog. You said no incidents at all? None? You sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure I got Snopes up here. Hold on here. Let me refresh the page since you want to be ignorant. Well, maybe next time. But I got Snopes up here. You know, let me mainstream it for a lot of you guys. And yeah, rumors that a dog in California successfully registered to vote and cast a ballot in an election circulated online mid-February. The claim was popularized on social media platform X after a post archived asserting the rumor was shared by ex-chairman. Oh yeah, and it's pretty much rated as true. So pretty much here. Some users pointed to the story as an example of alleged rampant voter fraud in the United States electoral system. Yeah, remember this was pretty much the whole like Nick Shirley exposed this. And yes, this dog was able to register and vote in 2021, by the way. Yeah, the claim a dog was registered to vote, rating true. So you said that what? There's nothing, no proof at all. Like I said, I mean, we could just, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh man, this was done with an intent to throw an election, but obviously a loophole was taken advantage of. And you just can't sit there and deny it now. I mean, come on, you sound crazy. But all right, though. All right, let's get back to our guy, Trump.
For COVID-19, both of which health experts say is not true. She's also made videos saying that doctors make medicine using DNA from aliens and that they're trying to create a vaccine to make you immune from becoming religious.
Well, maybe it's the same, maybe it's not.
Last week, well, real quick.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
There's
no.
hold on, because I haven't spoken. There's two different things that I think.
I mean, hey, I guess that dog has citizenship. Hey, you might be right about that one. You might be right. Like, they check people's citizenship. Then how was a dog able to vote, bro? Like, what citizenship was you able to provide for your dog? Like, please let me know. I didn't know we registered our dogs as American citizens. Maybe I'm missing something, though. Hey, I don't know everything that's going on.
Need to be addressed in the clip that we saw from the Meet the Press interview. The first is him alleging that he didn't lose the 2020 election. Trump and his team filed over 60 challenges in court and lost every single one of them. So there is no evidence that held up in court. That's number one issue. The second issue, which to me is just as horrible and needs to be discussed, is his consistent berating and insulting and ad hominem attacks, particularly against women. Whether it's
Give
Kristen,
me a break.
What do you mean give me a break? Kristen Walker this week.
Credits Kristen.
Caitlin Walker,
I'm
Caitlin
sorry.
Collins last
I
week.
worked with
The
Kristen
woman he
when I
called
worked at
Piggy.
the White
Will
House.
you give me a
to
break?
say
Have
that
you
you're
no
going up
shame
against
as a
another
woman
No.
that we hear
Kristen
him
was
call them
tougher
ugly
on-
and piggy and
Kristen
crooked
was
and
tougher
liars
on him
and
in
stupid
that interview.
and
I mean, are you crying about women being called names? I mean, then toughen up, sweetheart. I mean, these women are on TV. They're going to get called all types of names. I mean, if you're out there on the public eye, I mean, trust me, you're going to get attacked. I really don't like when women have that argument. It makes women seem real weak, and women are not weak like that, okay? Like, okay, they may not be physically stronger than us, but I'm sorry, but there are women who can actually take the heat. And sitting there going like, oh, well, he's calling women fat, this, that, and the third. Yeah, and these women shoot back at him too. They called him a pedophile as well. They call him, they said he got a small D. I'm sorry, but if they can't take it, don't say nothing back. I mean, they call him soft. They call him like what, childish. They call him all types of things too. It's fair game out here. Don't sit there and cry about, oh, he calls women this, that, and the third. It's like, well, hey, fair game out here. Personally, I wouldn't, but hey, if you're gonna send shots, man, prepare to get some back.
bad journalist.
And I have seen
you
that's
absolutely no
probably
solidarity
the
with
toughest
women?
interview I've
oh
seen
my
him
God, I
face
can't believe you sit
today.
here and tell me to give you a break.
Against
When
her
in
because
this
she was a
network,
tough
we hear
journalist.
him
Hold on, hold
tell
on.
our journalist that
Caroline, let
she's
her
not
finish.
fit to
She
be a
didn't finish.
journalist because she doesn't smile. How dare you tell me to give you a break? Have
Caroline,
some shame.
Why would
don't
the
you?
president tell a woman that she doesn't smile enough when she's working, asking him a question?
Because he's an
I ain't
equal
gonna
opportunity
lie.
offender. And
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. They touched the feminist nerve with that one. This ain't even got nothing to do with politics. This is just a feminist nerve. We're like, oh, they're trying to paint Trump as a sexist, which he low-key kind of is. But F it, we're all kind of sexist. But anyway, though, like you can kind of see where this conversation is going here. It's like, oh, how dare he tell a girl to smile? Everybody remember how that what was it? It was that guy Kevin Samuels, how he literally started a whole viral debate of literally saying that women should smile more. And look what we're dealing with today. Hilarious. All right, guys, let's keep it going. And guys, don't forget to double tap that screen. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreement you want me to read out loud and engage with, just send a super chat, $2 and up, or you can send a Venmo, guys. Appreciate the support.
Let's not pretend. Let me explain how the
Give me
game.
another example of.
Let me explain how the game. Let me explain how the game works.
Give me an example of him being equal.
Let me explain how the game works because Caitlin got something out of that exchange too.
Caroline.
The president gets a lot out of having combative exchanges with journalists. His base loves it. His poll. That's why I said he should do 2 to 3 more of these a week. His poll numbers go up. But Caitlin's getting something out of it too. So many journalists have made their careers in this country off of being combative with President Trump, Caitlin Collins included, Jim Acosta, many former people. It is all part of the game. It is all part of the theater. She's tough. She can
Why is it a game
But
to
the
you?
fact that you guys are going to call this a woman problem, Kristen did one of the toughest interviews I have seen someone do with the president.
And he walked up and left because he couldn't take it.
He didn't push back.
She flew all the way to Wisconsin, left and went to do her job. No, the guy needs to grow up. He's the president of the United States. He needs to grow up, and instead of walking out,
How many interviews did Biden do? How many interviews did Biden do?
Oh my God!
Did an interview.
Okay, Biden is back in the White House.
The Biden is like a reflex.
Separate
Jesus.
conversation
It's the truth.
than just
So the 2020 election.
Biden, blah, 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 Biden, blah, 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 Biden.
Elsie, you were making a point.
I get it. You want the president to look good.
I get it. You want to talk about 2020? I mean, I'm bringing up.
You said
I actually brought up 2015 when he started beginning the lies about talking about how elections have been stolen. I was just letting you know there's a pattern here that's been 10 years long. That's why I brought that up. But to the point I'm trying to say right now is that what do you want this nation to gravitate towards? The behavior that we've seen in which you berate women, or behavior in which you learn how to negotiate with someone that you don't agree with, but you don't need to yell or get up and beat it out of an interview.
It's one way that you berate women because apparently it's good for your image.
I hear you pushing back on LZ and Anna and suggesting that maybe this is somehow about
I'm sorry, but like I said, it irritates me when how women look for equality and then want to sit there and play victim all of a sudden. Like, hold on now, look, us guys go out there on TV and all this good stuff. You see us on the screen and you can grill us all you want and we sit there and accept it. I mean, bro, we don't sit there and be like, how dare you call a man lazy, fat, ugly? How dare you say that to a man? How dare you? It's like, no, if you put yourself out there, it's fair game. And I expect women to be okay with that if this is what you're going to do. I mean, now, if a guy goes out his way to go for a private person who don't even be on screen like that, then yes, shame on that person. But if we're both out there in the light, then I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm going to criticize you as much as I want. And if I want to call you ugly, if I want to call you fat, if I want to call you a disgusting bitch, I will. I would never use that language. I would never say the last thing to a woman, but I'm just saying, if I want to, I will. And you better be okay with it if you're going to put yourself out there in the limelight.
Biden, which it's not. Are you comfortable with Trump being challenged on something and rather than defending his point, just simply storming off of an interview?
He did defend his point. She kept on and on with the same question.
How did he defend it?
He said that he thought the election was rigged. He answered the question.
And she asked for proof and he provided
what? It goes back. He talks about what I just said. If you look at the whole election,
what you said didn't make any sense.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not a fact.
I just want to be clear.
It is a fact.
I just want to be clear. We are going to tackle what you were saying about California because there is no proof of what you're saying about California. But in this particular segment, I want to deal with the long running Trump obsession, which he also brought up in that interview with his loss in 2020, which he has now tasked the government with trying to validate, even though there's no proof of it. Why is it that when he is challenged on that, he can't answer for it?
Well, look, we know after the fact, we know there were problems in Arizona. We know there were.
He has no proof. I mean, that's just the facts right there. To be honest with you, like Trump he did not do any real investigation into it, even though he makes the claim a lot. And honestly, in my personal opinion, I think that they don't look into it because I believe that both sides do it, both Republicans and Democrats. So why get rid of a tool that y'all both utilize, but at y'all discretion? Like, you can sit there and complain about it, but I mean, if you're going to use it too, why look into it? And I'm just saying, that's just my wild speculation. So that's just me.
Problems in Georgia. We know after investigation, you can't prove that in 45 days.
What were they,
okay?
Hal? It's been 6 years.
What were they?
What were the problems?
There were problems with the voters in Georgia. They found voters that were voters that
there was no problem.
How many fraudulent votes were cast in Georgia? Because I live in Georgia. I want to hear you live.
And I lived in Arizona.
That's a lot. Okay, first of all,
I lived in
we can't
Arizona.
have this conversation. This man just said that there were thousands of
the more you guys yell there's no fraud, the more likely there was fraud.
No, the more that you lie, the more we're going to push back on the fact that you are lying. The Heritage Foundation keeps the largest database of voter fraud.
This is so ridiculous. I want to walk off this.
I got to finish this point. They keep 30 years. They've tracked 32 elections, 100 million votes. They have found 39 total cases of voter fraud. The Heritage Foundation is absurd. Where's your proof? I just cited my source. What is your source?
I got a question.
I just cited because I don't want. I want to know what your source is.
What you said?
What is your source?
No, that's absolutely fair though. I'm gonna be real with you. This is what I always say. It's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to go with the 2020 election was rigged. Like, all right, look. We all understand there was funny stuff going on, but nobody ever really did any investigation into it. AKA, we got no sources. We have nothing to point to because nothing was investigated. As much as Trump hypes it up and talks about it, it was never investigated. So how the hell can we bring something up, or how the hell can we even debate it when nothing has been investigated, or we have nothing at our disposal? Like no article, no like study done, nothing in our favor. Bro was able to pull something up. He said, out of 100 million votes, we found 39 cases. Well, where's our goddamn study? Exactly. We don't. That's why I never really bring up the 2020 election. I just let the libs have it. I'm like, all right, you got it. Can't find no proof. I mean, I can give you a couple sus situations, but I can't say that it overturned the entire election. And I'm pretty sure there are way more than 39 cases of fraud. But, I mean, hey, apparently wasn't blatant enough to be caught.
Do you think there's no H-1B visa?
Where's your source?
Do you think there's no Medicare fraud?
You don't have any
source. There's no home health care fraud?
Can you
let me finish?
You are not saying a source.
Guys.
You are not saying a source.
There's fraud all over the federal government. There's fraud all over the states.
Where is your source?
And yet there's no voter fraud?
Are you kidding me? The idea that you're sitting here trying to convince us based on no source whatsoever.
Is there Medicare fraud?
To trust your word and trust the president's word when we know he is lying. And I want to know if you think that was the reason. I want to know if we're sitting here with two elections tonight.
Just a second.
Do you think it's rigged as well?
Tell me there's no fraud in anything. Medicare, Medicaid, H-1B visas, nothing.
You have no source, and you're going to get louder and louder, and it's still not going to work.
California won't allow the federal government.
Fair. I mean, no, that's completely fair. Like, I'm be real with you. Hey, look, I'm fair about this. I'll give an argument to the libs when they got it, and they got it on this one. Unless a proper investigation is done into 2020 election, we just got to shut the hell up about it. Because obviously, hey, look, as much as Trump want to get mad and walk off about it, he wasn't angry enough about it to actually put, the DOJ on it, to put the FBI on it, to put the CIA on it, if he really wanted to get some shit done. But no, he didn't. Instead, he's in war with Iran. So, hey, I guess war with Iran is more important than election integrity.
It's louder and louder, and it's still not a single source for your whole body.
Stop talking. Guys, stop talking. Because y'all are talking so loud. But to be honest, Hal, you're not saying anything.
Okay, I think I am.
In this conversation.
Let's see what the viewers think.
Caroline,
they won't let the federal government even audit their
hold on a
rolls.
second. Caroline wants to have a quick word, and then we're going to go to.
By the way,
And like I said, they got a good point. Where's the source? Where's the investigation? AKA, bro, that's the problem. Until investigation is done, we have no sources for that. I mean, like I said, we got 1,000 mules or whatever. We can prove that people were hired to stuff ballots, but like I said, it's just not enough. Unless the FBI, like I said, you can't have a guy, making a film do it. No, you have to have the FBI, CIA, whatever law enforcement does it, they got to do it for it to actually be a verifiable source. So as much as you want to sit there, believe all the documentary guys, I mean, it's just not good enough. But all right. Let's go ahead and move it along here. All right, let's get over to Fox News to the 5, and let's see what they're saying. Ceasefire on edge, and Iran and Israel missiles fire exchange. And man, guys, it's getting crazy out here. I'll tell you what. And you know what the funny thing about this is? So pretty much, I told you this was going to happen, but the pro-Israel lobby is going to turn against Trump. You want to know why they're going to turn against Trump? Because Trump is holding Bibi back from firing back at Iran because Iran's firing off at Israel for striking Lebanon. And I'm going to tell you, yes, once again, Israel struck Lebanon first. As usual, they always strike first, but then claim to be the victim. It's pretty funny. But here's the problem, though. The reason why we won't be able to get to this ceasefire is because Iran is demanding that Israel stop striking Lebanon, stop trying to take southern Lebanon. And the wild part about Israel is that they said they will not accept a ceasefire with Hezbollah unless Hezbollah allows them to keep parts of southern Lebanon and they be removed themselves along with the people that's been displaced as well. Talk about ethnic cleansing. But all right, though, let's get into it and let's see what they think.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, along with Emily Campagno, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Tyrus.
Hey, and shout out to my man, Lunatic Libertarian, for starting us off. He said all centralized systems are failed panels of clowns. Yeah, you know, it's crazy. It's one side arguing fraud that they can't really prove, and then the other side arguing that there's no fraud, like there's just a little fraud going on. When we're just like, no, come on now, come on, there's fraud going on, but not at a big number to where I don't know. I can't really prove that it's at a big number. We could turn an election. Like the guy Tommy in the chat was right. Like, dog, like you could point out a couple instances to where these guys shouldn't have been able to cast a vote, but it wouldn't be enough to turn an election. And that's fair to say.
It's 5. Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, along with Emily Campagno, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Tyrus. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is the 5.
Getting ready for the propaganda, guys.
So the ceasefire, it's teetering on the edge as Iran and Israel exchanged a fresh wave of rocket attacks last night. President Trump stepping in to stop further escalation, demanding both sides immediately stop shooting. And for now, both sides are holding their fire. The president also answering some tough questions on why he chose to take military action in Iran.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support.
Of your consistent campaign promises was no new wars going all the way back to 2015. Did you break that promise to the American people?
No. I had to stop a country, very powerful, very dangerous country, from having a nuclear weapon because they'd use it. They'd blow up the world. They'd blow up the Middle East. They'd blow up it.
No, they wouldn't. And that's the thing, though. Like I said, and I said it last, and I said it during the interview, they wouldn't just start blowing up Israel. They wouldn't start blowing up the United States, one, because they'd be glassed overnight, and two, because they'd pretty much destroy the Middle East for themselves as well. And I'm sorry, if they just wanted to do that, then they'd start destroying water desalination centers and energy infrastructure across the Middle East if that was just their goal. All right, if their goal was just to decimate the Middle East, Iran could do that right now, this very moment, and they don't even got a nuke. Like, actually, even if they did, they don't even need a nuke. They just need some missiles and drones, and they can completely destroy the Middle East. The whole global economy, the whole economic system, they can cut the fucking internet off in the Middle East if they wanted to. They don't need a nuke, honest. They really don't, to cause mass devastation on, like, I'm gonna be real with you, from on a physical and economical scale. So let's not sit here and pretend that the only reason that we don't want Iran to get a nuke is because we then can't try to push regime change. Like we're like how we were salty about when North Korea got a nuke. Why? Because now we can no longer put pressure on Kim Jong-un to get him up out of there. And trust me, even I want Kim Jong-un gone, but not if he's gonna fire off a nuke. And by the way, Kim Jong-un has already said that he will fire off a nuke at the United States if we ever try to overthrow him, or he dies and they're able to track it back to us. So let's not do anything crazy.
Israel, they'd come here, they'd blow up Europe, they're nuts. And I'm doing the world a service, but I'm doing our country a service. You know, it's America first. I'm doing our country a service. Nice rain.
It is raining hard.
I didn't promise anything. I don't like these endless wars. This is not an endless war.
And Vice President J.D. Vance telling Jesse that Iran may be ready to come to the table.
I don't assume that anybody's acting in good faith. Obviously, we've been very involved in these negotiations, Jesse. We're going to take the attitude of accomplish the president's mission, but verify over the long term that the Iranians are keeping their end of the bargain. It's a tall order, but it's one that the president has put us in a good position to achieve. Because let's be honest, Jesse, the Iranians don't want this war to continue. It's not in their best interest. And I think they're coming to the table, putting some real things on the table. We're, of course, going to verify it. But if we get to this deal.
I mean, here's the thing. No, they're putting real things on the table, but I don't think we want to accept those conditions. Let me tell you why. Because those conditions involve us giving up $25 billion in, well, unfrozen assets. Straight to Iran, straight to Tehran, right to the Ayatollah. Might even put it in the man's lap. But here's the problem with that. As the, warmongering neocons and, the Mark Levins and Lindsey Grahams alike like to say, all they're going to do is fund their proxies and build up their missile system. And honestly, that's most likely what they're going to do. And here's the thing. We gave them every right to do so. If they did so, did we not just vindicate it at this point? I mean, we damn near vindicate them getting a nuke almost. And that's the scary part about it, because like I said, what I've been hearing is that Iran may already have a nuke, a couple of them. So we'll see. Hopefully that's not true, or I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, everything probably called off by now if that was confirmed.
It's going to be a home run win for the American people.
All right. Jesse, any more to add? That interview airs tonight on your show.
Yes, well, the relationship with Israel is getting a little spicy. The president told Netanyahu, "What the F are you doing? You're effing crazy. You'd be in jail if it wasn't for me." And that's why everybody in the United States hates you right now. The polls have shown that support for Israel has dropped about 20%. That's mostly with Democrats and young Americans. I can see what Netanyahu's doing. He's trying to lock in these gains in Lebanon right before a peace deal. He doesn't see that proxy.
Oh, guys, make sure to, double tap that screen and like the video. Appreciate the support. By the way, make sure to smash that like button if you're watching horizontally. And if you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, guys, feel free to super chat in or send a Venmo to double your support towards the call-in line, guys, in the Conspiracy Hour. So I do want to get some of you guys up so we can have a conversation. But all right, guys, let's get right into it.
War as part of Epic Fury. The Iranians do. So they were exchanging ballistic missiles. Netanyahu's population wants him to go hard. The U.S. population wants the dust and wants a deal.
Yeah, and that's the problem, though, because what was it? It was the National Security Advisor, Ben Gvir, pretty much saying Tehran will burn, pretty much after Iran pretty much strikes these guys, sends missiles at them, once again, makes it through their Iron Dome. And here's the thing. I don't even think they even got the Iron Dome anymore, because it was our missiles that was defending Israel from that attack from Iran, by the way. And then here they are mouthing off, going like, oh, we need to attack. We need to attack. And I'm just like, yeah, but here's the problem. You guys can barely defend yourselves. I know Israel has a right to defend themselves. Yeah, but here's the problem, though. Can you defend yourself? Because if we let you and Iran do the one-on-one, you're cooked.
Militarily, Israel's been just an absolutely amazing ally. Strategically, we don't always see eye to eye. They're not party to the peace talks. So we keep catching them spying on us. They've been eavesdropping on Witkoff, been putting listening devices into phones from defense officials in Israel.
Yo,
I get it. They want to find.
Hey, what? Hold on. Did this man just say that on Fox News? You know what, Jesse? I just got a little bit more respect for you. I ain't even gonna lie, I got a little bit more respect for bro. He did not just say that on Fox News. Like, the guys who be glazing Israel the most, stand behind Israel no matter what, is pretty much just admitting that, okay, I ain't gonna lie, Israel is spying on our top officials. They low-key have been assessed as a major threat when it comes to espionage, and they have been up and up there spying on their greatest ally, the Americans. Like, can you imagine that? Like, we give you the weapons, you provide protection in the Middle East. And what do? You spy on us and steal our secrets. Ain't that crazy? But our greatest ally, though, right? Oh, and they dragged us into a war that cost us American lives and billions of dollars. But our greatest ally, though.
Find out what's going on. They want an edge. They're looking for their own national interest. I think the only country that spies aggressively is Israel on us, South Korea. But we spy on them, and we do a better job anyway. The mullahs, the gay Ayatollah. It's wicked because they're in caves. Part two. Yeah. a guy on Camelback brings him a handwritten letter. It's just like, oh my God. You get a sense that Trump might need to give him another love tap just to kind of shake things loose.
And Harold, the Pakistan, of course, because Witkoff is talking to the Pakistanis.
The problem is that if we give them a love tap, they're going to retaliate by hitting one of our allies. And that's the problem. We don't have no escalation dominance in that area. Like the difference between Iran and Venezuela is that we had dominance in every way, shape, and form on Venezuela. The problem is we don't have dominance in every way, shape, and form on Iran. And I mean, here's one thing that Iran got on us is that escalation dominance. If we hit them, they could go ahead and hit places that would make it terrible for us. And I'm talking about economically. Like, guys, they can start destroying energy infrastructure throughout the Gulf region, and then the gas is now like $10 a gallon. They could do this shit overnight. Sad.
To try to help with the peace deal. So, I mean, that kind of collection can happen. And this is happening while FISA is basically null and void at the moment.
First of all, I'm happy that you're back.
Thank you.
And you
I'm
remain,
glad to be back around the table.
remain in our prayers.
Thank you.
I listened to the vice president. I look forward to seeing the interview tonight. I may watch it after your show tonight with the vice president.
Before the game?
The basketball game is on tonight. No one ever gets into war, Mr. Vice President, hoping they get into an endless war. People.
Oh, and shout out Jana. Appreciate the support. She sent the flow state for 200 joules. Appreciate the support, sis. Let me go ahead and shout you out on that one. Hey, appreciate that.
Get into wars believing it will be quick and decisive or decisive, and it might be some sort of timeline that does not exhaust the people that are supporting them. I think the vice president knows that. I think our tolerance and appetite for war as a country is lower than it has been over the many years because of the exhaustion over the last 20 years, 25 years, 26 years being at war in many ways. I think the president is on something when he says that I want to figure out a way to end this, but we could not allow this group of people to get a nuclear weapon. Imagine if they had a weapon. I've heard Tyrus, I think, say this on Gutfeld before that, if we could have gone back in time and figured out a way to prevent the North Koreans from getting a nuclear weapon, would we have done it? I think the smart answer would be yes. And if you can stop them from developing a nuclear weapon, the Iranians, you eliminate a threat for our kids and grandkids, and for that matter, all of us today. I think the president's challenge right now is that he talks too much. I think when you constantly tell people you're in negotiation, that they are 1 day away, 2 days away, 3 days away.
He's only doing that to play the market. So gas prices don't get out of control. So the stock markets don't start plummeting. Stocks don't start plummeting. He's only doing this to manipulate the market. He got to play a good face or else things aren't going to be looking so good. Here's the thing. Like, as much as I don't agree with this war, I damn near got to appreciate the fact that Trump is actually lying and saving face right now, because if he wasn't, then trust me, gas prices would be through the roof right now due to the fact that he is manipulating, the stock. He is manipulating gas prices, and it is a bit duplicitous, but I mean, hey, he's working in our favor, is it not? But how long will this work? And I'll be real with you, not so long. Honestly, I don't think it's going to work anymore. I think he might be cooked. There's only so many times you can sit there and fake out the market before they sit there and call your bluff.
That they're desperate for a deal. I think the president has to understand that he has incredible credibility with not only his supporters, but with the American people, as most presidents often do. And when you unify the country around a message of this thing is going to end quickly because they need for it to end, they are in pain. We have eliminated a lot of their ability to enact military pain. And then we see them deliver ballistic missiles. We see them fire on our adversary, or I should say our allies in the region. It calls into question a lot of things. When in fact, the president is right. He was right to call on both sides to stop. He's right to call on efforts that we have to have the backbone and the fortitude to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon. But Mr. President, you can't tell us that and at the same time keep leading us to believe that we're inches away from a deal when we want to be, but perhaps we're not. Yeah. So that would be my advice to my president this evening.
Tyrus, your name was mentioned. I feel like Iran is stress testing just how much they can get away with.
I think Iran they're counting us to be like the America they've had dealt with for decades. They're looking at how Afghanistan, well, maybe when America leaves, they'll leave us tanks and helicopters too. We just have to wait this out. I think in America, it's easy for us to say, oh, what's going on over there is, but the people who live in Israel, this is their front yard and their backyard. Yeah. And they see, and it's hard to hold it against them and their government against them. Like they can finally end this. Iran's best friend in this whole.
No, they can't, bro. They're struggling against Hezbollah. They got boots on the ground in Lebanon, and the IDF and Hezbollah both suffered over 3,000 losses. 3,000 lives lost on each side, both Hezbollah and the IDF. So no, they're not even sweeping these guys. They're low-key having a bit of a struggle with them. That's why they're recklessly bombing them, because they know that, I'm be real with you, they can't play fair when it comes to Hezbollah. So, well, honestly, they never played fair when it came to Hezbollah. But I mean, it is what it is. So, as they like to say, they are a terrorist regime. But all right, well, group.
Whole situation is President Trump, because he's the only one consistently saying, hey, we're going to come to the table, and Iran shoots at a ship. Okay, cool. We'll just blow up the guys who did it, but we're still willing to be at the table. If President Trump said, you know what, Israel and a lot of the Kuwait and a lot of the places that Iran fired at, he said, you know what, you guys handle it, there would be no more Iran. It would be completely, Iran's best friend in this situation is the United States, because they're the only one who can say to Israel right now, it's like, hey, stop firing. And that's a lot to ask a country after, forget.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Will they do it? Like, will BB listen to Trump? And I don't know. I don't think he will. I mean, he got his main people in his cabinet telling them, yo, F what Trump is talking about. Israel need to go. We have Mark Levin pretty much going against Trump, pretty much saying, no, Israel needs to retaliate. How dare you hold Israel back? It's like all this wild stuff. And it's kind of crazy, because we're like, do you know you retaliating means that we're going to have to leave you alone with Iran? Because like, we're not going to sit there and get back into kinetic strikes because, you know, you want to go attack Iran because they want to attack you over Lebanon, which you shouldn't have even been invading in the first place. Like, y'all had a ceasefire. Hezbollah wasn't attacking you guys. You guys attacked them and started taking their land. Now, all of a sudden, you're upset that they're striking you back. Like, well, what is this?
Just October 7th. Look, forget the national worldwide campaign against them. This type of stuff we've seen in here in America and our college campuses all around the world. So I sympathize with Israel's need to want to be safe and free. And for us, we sit on the other side of the ocean going, well, this needs to stop. So Iran, if you have any brains left in, what did you call him again?
The gay Ayatollah.
The gay Ayatollah. You know, maybe it's time to put on those dance shoes and go out and serenade and call the president and get it done. Because if the president walks away from this, it's not going to be like Afghanistan.
Right.
Israel's coming, and hell's coming with them.
Yeah, it would be a very.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Like I said, if Israel was to strike back, Iran was going to decimate Israel. I mean, here's the thing. Israel's pretty much depleted their missile defense system. We've damn near depleted our missiles, damn near basically defending Israel. So if Iran was to pop off, or if Israel was to pop off on Iran and Iran was to strike back, I'm going to be real with you, it would be in our best interest to let it be a one-on-one, to be quite honest with you, which we should have let it been a one-on-one during the 12-day war. But hey, it is what it is. But here's the thing. We cannot get back into it because Israel wants to go at it with Iran. That's just not going to be a good look. And once again, everybody's going to think that Israel can just drag us into whatever. Here's the problem. Israel's been the reason why we have not been able to get a ceasefire at all, because of their actions in Lebanon. And they don't want to quit.
A different end.
Yes.
I would imagine. Emily.
Yeah, I think it's almost like, you know, in those campfires, that there's a flame that stays sort of latent, but existing throughout the winter. And then all of a sudden it explodes. My point is, Iran's goal is survival, whereas our goal is a peaceful resolution and a relationship that fosters growth back into the people. So all it takes is one radical.
Yeah, but do you hear your language, though? Is like, oh, yeah, you want to foster hope back into the people. Well, look, here's a problem, lady. You actually got to deal with this government if you actually want to have a peace deal, or you actually want to have some type of ceasefire. And this is the problem. We cannot get regime change. You guys got to stop talking in the language of regime change. Oh, we got to speak to the people and put guns in the hands of the people. We tried that already in January and it didn't work. I don't know why you guys want to keep on going with this insane idea as if we can just arm people to overthrow the IRGC. I'm sorry, but they got like 1 million man army. So unless you can find 1 million people to arm, we're kind of cooked on that. And that's just a sad reality. And we've seen with Operation Epic Fury that we can't bomb them out of existence. We tried, but we failed on that too.
Thread to continue existing. And that's the threat. And that's why this president and administration is different than prior ones. And I think about when you mentioned, you know, the tolerance or zero appetite for these wars, you know, no one said anything when we bombed Belgrade, when NATO bombed Belgrade for 78 straight days, because Milosevic was an accepted, identified, and acknowledged villain who was murdering thousands of people. Now we have this same situation. For some reason, it seems to me our biggest hindrance and our biggest frustration and challenge to this resolution are Democrats and libs and the mainstream media who are putting the pressure and the time clock on this president who has manifested and invested in a process that will take some time. And the difference as well between now and back then is a faith, I think, in our military leaders and administration leaders in the boots on ground, in the people who are there and the people who understand we're not making decisions from far away. And the pressure will come from our Gulf allies. And in this administration, I trust that the decisions will reflect our allies and relationships instead of deserting them, leaving them hanging, and then putting our American lives at risk because of that.
Just one thing.
No, I ain't gonna lie. We might have to leave Israel hanging on this one. But all right, guys, let's get into it here because what was it here? Unhinged, Pentagon says Israel spying is at a critical level. Yep, it's now they are now considered a critical threat. Shout out to the Mossad. So yeah, shout out to the Mossad. You know, shout out to my boys over there in the Mossad, man. Y'all doing good work over there. I mean, not God's work, but I mean, good work as far as intelligence goes. I mean, hey, man, I ain't no hater. I gotta recognize good work there. I mean, they've been doing a lot of impressive shit lately. You can damn near hear the music in the background the way the Mossad been working so well. But all right, let's get back to it. All right, let's get into it. We're breaking point, guys. And don't forget to double tap that screen, like the video, guys, and make sure to support the show with a Venmo, Super Chat, or a Rumble Rant. Appreciate the support, guys. And that's how we can go ahead and open up the call-in line and get to some of these guys in the chat. Because I do want to hear your guys' arguments or what you guys got to say about, well, what's been going on today. But all right, guys. If you want to double your support, I suggest you send a Venmo, or you can double tap that screen and like the video. Why? Because you're helping me out with engagement. Be a nice person and do that. All right, let's go.
Of Israeli spying in the U.S. I'm going to give credit to NBC News. They broke this story first. Let's put C1 up here on the screen. The Pentagon has raised the threat of Israeli spying on U.S. to the highest level. Let me explain some of what they have, and then I will give you some of what I have. They say the Pentagon is increasingly concerned about Israel ramping up its spying on the U.S., recently raising the counterintelligence threat level from America's top ally in the Middle East to the highest level. The Pentagon.
And here's the thing, though. What it looks like is that Israel's not liking where this war is going for them. And they're pretty much spying on our top military officials to see where their head's at, to see what they might be saying, and possibly to see if they can blackmail them and get them to go in, Israel's direction, pretty much tap Trump on the shoulder, shake him on, be like, you must attack Iran. You must put boots on the ground. This is an existential threat, Trump. Oh, my goodness. Hey, man, hey, there's a lot you can get out of a person with the right type of blackmail. And shout out to my man Noah Joyner. Appreciate the support, my man, with the 10. He said the political powers in Israel have become way too corrupt to be left to their own devices. Honest fix, remove our money from them and hold them for war crimes. Also, did you watch Falcon 9 Launch? I did not. I did not catch that one. But, hey, appreciate the support, my man. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and give you that shout out. I ain't gonna lie, man. I can't get enough of that sometimes. And to the guy on Twitch, yes, I'm live. This is live. This is not a fake live. This is a real one. So, yes, bro, I can see you. But all right, though, let's get right back to it, guys.
DIA. So this specifically is like the internal intelligence agency for the Pentagon, the Defense Intelligence Agency. In recent weeks has issued a new counterintelligence threat assessment amid rising tensions between Israel and the U.S. over the way forward in the war with Iran. They said the DIA posted an internal message viewed by a current official that raised the level for Israel to, quote, critical. The designation stems from concerns within the Pentagon that Israel is making fun of making a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials. I'm going to give you some of the names of those officials a little bit later on. The DIA assessment includes a 7-page document.
Remember, DIA is Defense Intelligence Agency, and he pretty much is just the CIA wing of the Pentagon. So, yes, they run military intelligence.
and features a chart. The document says the assessment of Israel is its ability to conduct human espionage and technical collection is at a critical level. It also identifies a series of specific incidents that heightened U.S. concerns. So the spokesperson for the Israeli embassy said this, quote, completely false, that Israel spies on the U.S., Israel does not gather intelligence on American entities, let alone U.S. government officials.
LOL.
Israeli intelligence collection efforts are aimed at its enemies, not its allies. Any claims to the contrary are either misinformed or politically motivated.
We should ask Mr. Pollard about that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's just been so much proof of Israel spying on us. It's just like, really, bro? I'm sorry, but before this, we knew you guys were spying on us. So, like, to deny it now that it's a complete story and we've raised your threat level, aka y'all been a threat, but now y'all just try hards at this point. Kind of let you know, like, we weren't bullshitting you guys, and it's not Israel derangement syndrome to sit there and say, like, yeah, they've been spying at us. Actually, we've had Israelis right out betray us. Jonathan Pollard, like, y'all forget about that guy, stole our secrets, sold it to Russia, and y'all forget. Did you forget when Israel stole the nuke from us in Pennsylvania and New Mexico? Yeah, y'all forget about that part. Through spying, through intelligence, by the way.
Yes, the Pentagon has declined to comment, and a White House official said in the statement
guys, we got over 100 of y'all watching, man. Make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys, on YouTube, X, Rumble, and of course, Kick as well. I don't think you can like the video on Kick. Shoot, just stay watching, bro. Appreciate you.
The story is entirely false and sourced to someone who doesn't have any knowledge. The ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, was overseas, did not respond to a request for comment. So let's focus in on a few things. Number one is the statement from the White House that says that this is completely false. Can we put C2 up there on the screen? The entire story is false and sourced to someone who doesn't have any knowledge of what's going on. I want to point everybody to a very interesting line. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence did not respond to a request for comment. And I also want to point to some very, very specific examples, including a 7-page document that features a chart. That document, I can confirm to all of you, exists. Now, let me tell you about some of the things that are in there. I got to be a little careful here in terms of protecting some of the many people who I spoke to about this story. Basically, what they have seen in terms of their raising too critical is they have raised it to a similar level that they treat general U.S. adversaries. This is based on a few specific incidents. Some of these incidents, again, I cannot go into deep detail, include the explicit surveillance of top officials inside of the Pentagon who they deem to be a threat to their agenda inside of the Pentagon. The New York Times,
AKA anybody trying to push Trump out of this war, man, look, man, we need to get the wiretap on that phone immediately. We need to figure out if he's cheating on his wife and anything else that he might be doing. Because we need more people on our side to push Trump into this war. I think that's really the reason why they're upping their spying on us, because they see that Trump is being dissuaded, he's being pulled in the opposite direction, and they're like, oh hell no, let's just see what we can get on these guys. Let's see if we can blackmail them. Let's see if we can find some incriminating information or some information that makes it seem like they're going against Trump to make Trump distrust them. Anything to pull Trump in our direction. But let's see, because I'm kind of glad we caught them. I'm kind of glad this came out, but that's not going to stop the Israelis. Let's be real.
the way, can confirm some of this as well. Let's put C3 up here on the screen so it's not just me who is telling you all of this. I'm going to read from you a very specific line. The report includes that Israel has stepped up its efforts to eavesdrop on senior American officials, including Steve Witkoff, President Trump's top negotiator, Elbert J. Colby, the Pentagon's top official, and one of his main deputies, Michael Dimino. Now, Colby, Dimino, and Witkoff, I guess, could technically be seen as some sort of the restraint part of the Pentagon. Colby, in particular, we've had him here on the show. You can go back and watch some of those past interviews. Witkoff, obviously, look, I don't really know what Witkoff believes, but Israel seems to believe he's a problem because he was one of the people who initially started that who initially pressed them for the ceasefire. They've never forgiven him for it, and even for his involvement, despite him still being very, very pro-Israel. I also want to point to a very specific line that they use, which I can also tell you, eavesdrop. What do you think that means? It means trying to bug people's phones. Here are some of the other things that I have learned, is that the Israeli government has been increasingly, while U.S. military officials are in Israel, that they have found themselves basically subject to the same, quote, threat analysis that they would whenever they're traveling abroad. Now, it is standard operating procedure for U.S.
No, I'm not gonna lie, man. One thing that does piss me off about these negotiations is the fact that Jared Kushner, the guy with all the self-interest in the world, is wild as hell, but the guy with all the self-interest in the world is actually in on these negotiations. Then we got Steve Witkoff, a straight out Zionist, like completely biased parties. I mean, that's what kills me about these negotiations. You can kind of tell that they basically want them to fall apart, or they want them to be overly favored towards Israel. Because I'm gonna be real with you, they didn't send American negotiators; they sent Israeli negotiators.
Officials, when they leave the country, to actually turn in their government device and to get a traveling phone. And it's explicitly for this reason, because of potential being able to break into their various devices. And there was at least some belief that attempts at that had been made. And now the Times and the NBC News have gone further, and they're basically saying they explicitly tried to eavesdrop on these three officials that we know about, also military officials inside of Israel, CENTCOM and others. But the main target of
Hey, and shout out Steph for sending a marshmallow for 100 jewels. Appreciate the support, sis. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a celebration as well. I ain't gonna lie, man. That boy Kim Jong-un got moves, though. You can't lie. He's smooth out there.
Israeli intelligence right now, from based on everything I've been able to see, is to get as much visibility into the Pentagon's internal decision-making as possible, including to the White House, to make sure that they can try and influence things from their side. Now, nothing I'm saying is explosive in such a way that, like, if you watch the show, you probably believe it. But I think what's explosive is the fact that the DIA concluded this in a memo. And again, I think the number one thing I can offer you is the memo exists, that they definitely have been, they have specific.
The thing is, bro, the DIA, I'm gonna be real with you. The Defense Intelligence Agency has been Donald Trump's worst friend. Well, actually, I'm gonna be real with you. Well, worst ally department, because these guys have been doing Donald Trump dirty. And this is how. Every time when Donald Trump came out and said that, hey, we took out 90% of their missile launching capability, DEI comes out and says, oh, no, you didn't. And DEI is Defense Intelligence Agency. Like every time, oh, yeah, we took out all of Iran's Navy. DEI comes out, no, you didn't. They took out like 60%. What you talking about? So for some reason, it does look like the intelligence community might be pissed off at Trump. Like, shoot, I'll go ahead and read this for you. Because this isn't the only time the DEI done, you know, pretty much went at Israel and whatever Israel's been saying, or whatever the Trump administration has been saying as well. But classified U.S. intelligence assessments from the Defense Intelligence Agency concluded that Iran's military remains far stronger than the Trump administration has publicly acknowledged. According to intelligence sources, Iran's military is capable of posing a severe regional threat despite recent coalition strikes. I mean, key assessments from the DIA and broader intelligence communities indicate the following. Let's get into it. Missile capability. Intelligence shows that Iran still retains roughly 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile and about half of its mobile missile launchers. So like I said, when Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth was telling you, oh, we took out everything, here comes our intelligence agency with the, oh, no, you didn't. And this is our own intelligence here pretty much going against our president. What does that tell you? Kind of looks like there might be a bit of a problem going on. And let's see, he rebuilt infrastructure. Iran has restored operational access to a vast majority of its underground storage facilities and missile sites along the Strait of Hormuz. And of course, stockpile. The DNA has confirmed that Iran still retains thousands of missiles and one-way attack drones. And the nuclear timeline. DIA has previously assessed that Iran could produce enough weapons-grade fissile material for a nuclear weapon in probably less than 1 week. So do you see the problem here, guys? And you see how you guys have been completely lied to about what's going on the ground. And here's the thing. I mean, you could believe Trump or you could believe our intelligence, but I'm going to go with our intelligence since they got more resources than Trump. And sadly, Trump has been cutting off his intelligence, aka he's been cutting himself off at the legs when it comes to getting, you know, what's really going on the ground. I mean, when you listen to the Mossad instead of your own intelligence, what do you expect to happen? But hey, it is what it is. And now, guys, you can go ahead and get this in from the Washington. Well, let me go ahead and give you a guys good article. The New York Times did a really good one on this one. So I'll go to the New York Times if I were you, if you got the subscription. It was a really good article to read through. I mean, see, look, it even gave, you can see, look, secret new assessment says Iran has access to about 33 operational missile launch sites. So you can go ahead and read that article. Hey, I can't do all the work for you, man. You got to get some reading done. Okay. Some of y'all ain't reading years and you know it's true. So go out there and read. All right, guys, don't forget to double tap the screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support, by the way.
Specific instances in some of these cases where they have tried to eavesdrop on these U.S. officials. AIPAC, the U.S. and others are AIPAC and the White House are all denying this. But I can tell you for 100%, this memo exists. It includes multiple specific instances of Israeli officials who were either caught or where the DIA believes that they were trying to surveil U.S. officials. I also should note that this memo does not just include evidence from after the outbreak of the Iran war. This critical threat memo was issued based on years now of counterintelligence activity that they have been able to conclude. And it was done specifically to try and protect the integrity of the U.S. war decision-making process. There are still people in the Pentagon who care about that. I can report for all of you. This is based on some of my conversations with multiple different sources who are around this. But the most noteworthy and depressing part to me is the...
Oh, guys, let's make sure to support the stream so we can get that call-in line open. If you want to double your support, you can send a Venmo, or you can go ahead and just super chat in or send a Rumble rant if you're watching on Rumble, guys. Appreciate the support. And if not, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen. We got about 142 of you watching across all platforms.
White House saying that this story is completely false. The people in charge of actually making sure that we're not getting spied on are the ones who are denying that the story doesn't exist. It exists. I can tell you explicitly it exists. The memo is real. The actual things in various contacts that were made inside the memo, again, I wish I could go into even some more just because it's really crazy, but that would give away a little bit too much. It includes multiple instances where military officers and others found themselves or believed themselves to be under either electronic surveillance, human surveillance, or other type of surveillance, either in Israel and in some cases electronically here in the United States.
Well, they say in the New York Times report that some officials discovered that the Israelis had either attempted or succeeded in installing software on their phone. Could be Pegasus, something like that.
Want me to go in the details on that one?
Sure.
So this appears to have been an effort where, sometimes whenever you go to a secure area, if you've ever been to a SCIF, you often have to turn in your phone for a briefing. Well, they would come back and then they would discover, oh, actually, there might be something that's been installed on my phone. So there you go. Now, it's actually a little bit unclear as to where the software was installed. Either could have been in Israel. There have been some speculation that it occurred in the U.S. Best I've been able to tell, it occurred while they were on travel, while they were in Israel. And they're actually particularly worried about their own personal devices. Remember that Steve Witkoff and others have used their personal devices and signal devices whenever they were conducting diplomacy, which just made them very vulnerable.
And also fly around on private jets, not, official secure government aircraft. And so that makes them more vulnerable. And what the New York Times points to is that, look, Israel has been spying on the U.S., and we spy on them too, by the way, but they aggressively spy on the U.S., and this has been always known, right? That's not new. But they say that,
considering how much we do for Israel and, all the conflicts they dragged us into and all the countries we took care of for them, you would think they show us enough respect to not spy on us, considering everything we've done. You feel me? Like, don't you think that's fair to ask? But apparently it's not. Apparently I might be anti-Semitic for even, asking that of our favorite allies or our favorite country, the Middle East. My bad. I guess I should never have asked it.
the efforts have been ramped up significantly, actually during the Biden administration after October 7th, as they were trying to get a window into, okay, what is the decision-making that's going on inside? Are they going to try to constrain us in any way? The answer turned out to be no. But in any case, that's when they really escalated these efforts. And one person that the New York Times quoted here said that what they're doing now is, quote unquote, unhinged. So, again, these are not people who are Pollyanna who, would expect that Israel would not spy on us whatsoever, which to me seems like a reasonable expectation of an ally. But in any case, that is not the expectation that our government apparently has. But even given that baseline of expectation that they will spy on us, they consider the actions to have been taken here to be unhinged. I want to pair this too with another story, which is the efforts to effectively link the U.S. and the Israeli militaries and make them so intertwined that this is something we talked about last week with Brandon Weichert, to make them so intertwined as to make it almost impossible to extricate ourselves from this relationship. This is the country that we're talking about, a country that spies on us as aggressively, if not more aggressively, according to these reports.
And you know, so crazy, we're actually pushing to actually have to have the Israeli military pretty much fuse with ours, like funding, technology, and all. And it's like, wait, what? So we'll be absorbing the IDF and they'll be using our systems, our tech, all that. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm selfish about our stuff. I don't know. I feel like that should be for America only.
As our adversaries, as our biggest adversaries in the world. There is no other ally that is conducting this level of operations against us. It is not a thing. It is only Israel. And so it really does call into, look, to me, the relationship of Israel as an ally is already called into question. This further calls into question the idea that this country should be an ally, that we should have this type of relationship with them when they're committing, acts against us that are adversarial all the time. I said earlier in the show, they would be delighted if U.S. service members got killed right now in the Middle East so that we would get drawn back in. That's our ally. That's who we send billions of dollars a year to without a second thought. That's who we're trying to directly intertwine our military and intelligence services with. This is insanity.
And I can tell you,
yep, that's our pal. That's Israel. Like, as soon as Israel just goes out there and bombs another country, we just hit them with the, oh, Israel. But okay, guys, let's go ahead and get into the next one real quick. Now, let's see here. Where do I want to take this one? Because I wanted to land on, do I want to land on the Piers Morgan or the PBD? Let's go to PBD. All right, let's do PBD.
Tehran.
All right, guys. Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. Especially if you've been watching over like 10 minutes, you might as well subscribe to the channel and definitely definitely click that bell while you're at it so you get the notifications. Oh, and if you want a better viewing experience, please go ahead and make it over to the go ahead and go over to the horizontal live for a better viewing experience of the live. I do know the vertical is probably got a small display, but some of you guys deal, and shout out to you guys, but you don't have to deal with that. You can go to the horizontal live and it'll be a lot better for you. But all right, though, let's get right into it.
So, Rob, walk me through the sequence, okay? So the first step is Israel attacks Hezbollah in Lebanon. Then Iran attacks Israel. Then Israel attacks Tehran. Then Trump calls Bibi and says, knock it off. Is that the right sequencing on what I just said?
Correct.
Okay. So that even takes place over the weekend. Trump suggests meeting with the supreme leader, pending expectations and diplomacy. I think even in the Kristen Welker interview, he said to her that, I wouldn't mind speaking with him. He said he is a young man. He is younger than his father, probably a little bit more diplomatic. Is this it, Rob, about the exchange? Yeah.
Nah, that when Trump sits there and try to call, the Ayatollah's son, who's now in power, or now I guess the new Ayatollah, when he sits there and try to say, you know what, this is a more reasonable guy, I'm like, no, bro, come on now. If he was a more reasonable guy, we'd have had a ceasefire by now. And then also, I don't know if we've, molded a more reasonable guy. You got to remember, we bombed. I mean, basically, we took out his mom, his dad, his daughter, and his wife all in one go. Remember this, guys, all in one go. This is the guy that we're dealing with here. The guy that has the battery of revenge in his back right now. This is why I keep saying I kind of want this guy gone. It's like anybody but him. Because guess what? They say that he's actually more hardliner than his dad. He's more pro-IRGC, more Islamist than his dad. So when y'all started seeing here, a lot of American people talk about, oh, no, we actually bombed ourselves to a more reasonable person. No, we bombed ourselves to a bigger savage. We bombed ourselves to more of a jihadist. Like, are you serious? We took out bro's family. You think he's in a good mood? Like, all right.
Go forward.
You talking about the son of the supreme leader? He has not been seen in public. What is his status? Have you talked to him directly?
I do believe they have great respect for him. I see it. I mean, they want to get his concurrence. They've said to me, they've said to others that they're looking for approval, and he is part of the approval process. Absolutely.
Have you spoken to him directly? You said you want to meet with him.
No, I have not. I would if he'd like to, but I have not spoken to him directly.
Do you know where he is?
I will tell you, they do.
How he is?
Yeah. They do pay homage to him. I would tell you if they didn't. They seem to, based on what I see, they.
Now, what you gotta do, remember that was it Majabi, man, no, Khomeini. So yeah, the new Ayatollah. He was pretty much caught up in that blast that took out, his family. And from what I was told, and this came from Russians as well, is that when he is in Iran, he's still in Iran. They sent him a prosthetic leg because his leg's been blown off. He got singed lips. His face seems to be disfigured. And this is what I've been hearing from inside of Iran. This is what people are saying inside of Iran and inside of Russia. So we'll see. But I doubt that he's dead. And he does seem that he's able to give out commands. But they don't want to show him in public. One, because, well, we'll bomb the shit out of him. And he won't be, and we haven't heard his voice because, well, we'll be able to track where that voice recording came from, and we'll bomb the shit out of him. I mean, he really can't even get on a phone. Why? Because we'll bomb the shit out of him. Like, bro, we just have a way of finding people. Like, I'm telling you, through the technology. Like, bro, you hop on the wrong website. Bro, this man hop on a website. We'll find him.
Seem to respect him a great deal.
Okay, so he's saying he's open to the idea. Tom, as you're seeing this back and forth with negotiations trying to take place, but is this it, Rob, with Israel and Tehran?
This is Iran actually striking an Israeli military base.
And this is the first time since April, if I'm not mistaken, right? Go ahead, Rob. And did it get through?
Yeah,
well, the timing of this and the plane right here is kind of a...
Whoa! Wow.
Whoa! Abba! Whoa!
That's Israel. And then do you have the one Israel to Tehran? And then the one with Israel and Lebanon? Because it's like 3 attacks that happened.
So I have Israel striking Iran, but I don't have the actual impact, just the aftermath. Here
okay, go for it. Oh, they recorded it after it hit. And that's in Tehran.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Do you recognize that street, Rob, that road? I've definitely driven past it.
You've definitely been there.
I honestly was curious to know what part of... So this is still going on back and forth. Adam, your thoughts on this back and forth with Lebanon, Israel, and Iran and the president?
Yeah, well, look, Israel has, everyone has different interests in what they're doing in the region. At the end of the day, this comes down to United States and Trump and the Ayatollah. But there's a different situation going on with Hezbollah. I'm no longer going to call Lebanon, Lebanon. I'm going to call them Little Iran. Because anything they do, their government has zero.
I mean, it's kind of disrespectful, but I mean, okay, just f their sovereignty, f their nationality. It is what it is. Like, to say, no, I'm just gonna stop calling you Israel. No, bro, I'm just gonna call y'all Little America. Little America. Well, why not? I mean, we pay for your army, we pay for your expansionist ways. I mean, shoot, due to the fact that we help you guys save on military costs, you guys are able to afford free healthcare. So, I mean, why not, bro? Bro, you're not even really a country, you're like a vassal state. Like, wouldn't that be wild if somebody just said that about Israel? So isn't that kind of wild how we just kind of like disrespecting the entire country of Lebanon, just saying you're little Israel, when Lebanon actually has a Christian president, by the way, like, in a Christian population that's being bombed out of their homes. But Adam doesn't care, though. Adam doesn't care. It's all about selling a war.
Sway is what it seems, and everything has to go through Hezbollah. If Hezbollah doesn't want something to occur, they'll just object. Israel and Hezbollah are fighting a war right now. They don't want to call it a war. They want to say it's a ceasefire, but it's a ceasefire that stops and starts. But there's something deeper going on here. What is the religion of Iran and Hezbollah? They're not just Muslim, they're Shia Muslim. Now, if you look at what's going on here, I'd be very upset if I was a
Shia Muslims, like, really the difference is, like, well, who they believe should be leading Islam. Like, the difference is one believes that it should be Muhammad's, bloodline that leads Islam, and then the Muslims, and then the other one believes that it should be Muhammad's best friends, Ali. So that's pretty much like where the religious strife came from. But I'm gonna be real with you. One of the main difference that's very scary is the martyrist culture of Shia Muslims. Like, bro, they consider martyrdom as a high honor, so they're not afraid to die, and they will take it there with us, as you see.
Shia Muslim, because Israel and the United States have taken out your top 2 leaders of all time, the Ayatollah and Nasrallah in Lebanon. These aren't just leaders; they are the supreme leaders of all time. Imagine Your enemy eliminated both your top two guys, and now you want to have peace with these guys? One of two things is going to happen. Either a deal is going to happen or there's going to be war. There's no in between. Trump wants to get in and out of this thing. Israel's basically saying, hey, look, I hear you, but can you please tell these terrorists, these Shia militants, these Iranian proxy to stop shooting missiles? Yeah, let me see what I could do. Turns out they're not going to listen. Turns out that they actually swore an oath to Allah.
Well, actually, the problem is that one, the people of Lebanon are actually looking towards Hezbollah for protection from Israel bombing them out of their homes. That's the problem there. And two, well, the Hezbollah is more capable than the Lebanon army. It ain't that about a bitch. I mean, bro, can you imagine that? Like literally. So this militant group is more capable than the country's army. So Hezbollah can beat Lebanon's army, and that's why they can't challenge them. And Hezbollah was created due to Israelis' aggression, and that was their aggression in Lebanon. So guess what? I mean, if you want to stop Hezbollah, you want them to stop attacking, then stop attacking Lebanon, and there you go. Because the whole reason why Hezbollah was created was because of Israel trying to take southern Lebanon in the 80s. And it's still continuing today, as you see.
To eliminate Israel. Do you think that any negotiation is going to stop Hezbollah from starting war in Israel? What I know about Bibi is he wants peace, but until there's peace that's done, he's going to blow your stuff up. So we're going to remains to be seen what happens in here. But Iran does not necessarily want peace. They want to cut a deal. Who knows what's going on here? At the end of the day,
Iran doesn't necessarily want peace.
No, because it
cut a deal.
Iran
wants to cut a deal with U.S.
Well,
you think Israel wants a deal?
Israel does not want a deal unless nuclear is done, and then they stop funding terrorism.
I think it's even more than that. I don't think it's just nuclear. I think it's more than that.
They want them to stop funding terrorism.
Yeah,
but
they want the IRGC.
They want them to stop funding terrorism. They want them to give up their right to enrich. They want a regime change. I mean, it's way more than just that. Israel got a laundry list of what they want out of Iran. Oh, yeah, and they also want them to water down their missile range. So they basically can't protect themselves. So, oh, no, it's way more than what Adam just said. Trust me, Israel got a laundry list for Iran that Iran is pretty much saying hell no to.
Gone.
Of course.
Is what Israel wants.
But by the way, so do the people of Iran. Israel and the people of Iran have the exact same interests. They want the IRGC out of here.
Yeah.
Why do you think the people of Iran are shouting BB June, BB June?
Y'all really, bro, man, that's funny. So the people of Israel and Iran have the same interest. Yeah, no, actually. And you can't say that for certain because, like, honestly, if you just think that's true, you're kind of just ignorant on the political atmosphere in Iran. And you know what? I could sit here and I could show you parades of, these people celebrating missile strikes and these people celebrating the IRGC, but maybe we should just go to the 2014 Iranian election, right? I think that's what we give you guys a better picture of what the F we're dealing with. Because when Adam says dumbass stuff like, oh, the Iranian people stand with Israel, I mean, how many? Because I don't know about that, buddy. And what I'm bringing up here is Iran's pretty much 2024 election. And you guys, I like to bring this up to debunk, when PBD says, oh, 80% of Iranians are against the Ayatollah, they're against the regime. But you got 61 million of them who registered to vote in an election ran by said regime. Doesn't sound like they're all that upset. I'm gonna be honest with you. And there's two parties in Iran, right? Now, there are the principalists, these guys that are pretty much Iranian conservatives, basically, really pro IRGC. And these are the guys that we wish that were, had more power. The reformists, right? Pretty much they're the liberals of Iran. So the principalists are the right wing and the reformists are the left wing. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it kind of shows you who's would be willing to turn on Iran and who's pretty much going to fight with Iran. And the 13 million that voted for the principalists, 13 million, these are people that are for sure going to fight, or for sure going to fight with the IRGC. Probably most of them are in the IRGC. These are the guys that are standing out there waving the Iranian flag, talking about death to America, death to Israel. So here's 13 million people that for sure will go off their way to fight the U.S. And then here's 16 million people that want a reform from their government. But here's the thing, though. How much of these 16 million people are actually going to try to go against their government? Not much. You want to know why? Because they're willing to participate in an election that is controlled by their government. These two right here have to be picked up by the Ayatollah. That's it. That's all. Ayatollah gets all reign. And as 61 million people decided that, you know what, I'm going to register in the vote, and I'm okay with that. In the end, about 30.5 million people voted. And so thank God the reformists won. This is the current president of Iran. So do you kind of see the problem when they sit there and tell you that BS of, oh, Iran is 80%. Oh, Iran's 80% against the Ayatollah. I don't know, man. That 13 million is a little shaky. And then also when he says, oh, the Iranian people stand with the people of Israel, they share the same interests. Well, I know 13 million Iranians that beg to differ. So, yeah, that's why it's BS. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get right back to it with PBD and them. Just have to go ahead and, you know, push back on that BS. Oh, make sure to like the video, guys. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, make sure to send it through a Venmo, Super Chat, or Rumble Rant, guys. If you want to double your support, send it through a Venmo. All right, guys, let's keep it going.
At the end of the day, Hezbollah is an Iranian military wing that is basically taken over and terrorized Lebanon.
Play this clip.
And Lebanon is held hostage.
Here's what the president had to say about Hezbollah and Bibi. Go for it, Ram.
You have openly said
This is when it was raining
frustrated
down.
by Israel's continued bombing of Lebanon. Are you and Prime Minister Netanyahu on the same page?
Yeah, we are. We get along very well. We've been great comrades. We did a very, very big number on a certain country that was nothing but trouble for 47 years. I disagree with him on a couple of things.
On Lebanon?
I'd like to see Lebanon have a better life. I'd like to see a more surgical attack on Hezbollah. I think it should be more surgical. And we can help them with that, or we can recommend Syria.
All right, so what Trump means is by surgical. Well, Israel's pretty much been wiping entire villages off the map. Actually, Israel destroyed a village so bad that Google took it off the map. No, literally, there used to be 3 villages that you can find on Google Map, and now it is gone. Why? Because Israel pretty much decimated everything there. And here's the thing. I mean, let's be real. It wasn't to take out Hezbollah. You don't take out an entire fucking village to take out Hezbollah when there are definitely innocent civilians in there. And this is what Trump means by surgical, because they're not being surgical with it. They're bombing willy-nilly. Like I said, Israel just can't take out one person in one area, just blow up a room. No, they got to blow up the entire fucking neighborhood to get one person. So if Israel wants you, bro, I'm telling you, you might want to go out into the middle of nowhere, because you and your entire block, your neighbor, your favorite homie across the street, they're all going to die with you. If it's Israel coming after you, of course.
Syria is doing a very good job of cleaning up their act. They have a very good leader. They have a leader that's really done a good job in a short period of time, and he would love to help.
You have opened.
Yeah, so that's his position. Tom, what do you stand with this?
Well, I like the comment about Syria, about trying to get other people that are interested in the outcome.
Interested parties, yeah.
Interested parties to participate. But I think there's...
Yo, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen, man. Let's get those likes up to 50.
2 things that are really clear. Adam said both of them with regard to IRGC. Israel wants IRGC gone, and they are going to continue to frustrate our attempts to get a ceasefire and a deal that doesn't include the just absolute crippling of IRGC in some way. That's Israel's objective. So Israel's got 2 objectives. Get rid of IRGC and don't let the U.S. stop things too quickly or negotiate for a deal that you don't necessarily want. That's it. And then try to get Syria to come in and help. And then Trump is trying to talk nice to Bibi to kind of smooth things over from last week, which I think we all believe happened. You know, you're effing nuts. He says you can't be doing it this way. You gotta stay with us. You know, you're crazy. And he's not crazy. He's just frustrating you. He's frustrating Trump. But Trump is still the deal maker, and he is still the alpha dog here. And he's trying to navigate a way through it.
Is this one recognizing the crazy call, Rob?
Yep.
Go for it.
Now, Axios reported that you had a phone call with Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, in which you were angry with him. You said, "Are you effing crazy? What are you effing doing? I helped you stay out of jail." Is that true? Did you speak to him in those terms?
I did. I would say
no. Bibi is effing crazy. I mean, let's be real. Everybody's trying to get to a ceasefire, and he's over here popping off on Lebanon. Bro dragged us into a conflict with Iran just so he can hide behind that and try to take Lebanon. And then when we try to get to a ceasefire, not only does he try to commit the biggest strikes on Lebanon that ruined it the first time, but bro, this man is literally annexing land, already trying to create settlements in southern Lebanon. When will you guys understand, bro? This Greater Israel project is real. They're not playing around. I wish they were. This is why it's low-key kind of funny, because it's kind of crazy to think that a small country in the Middle East is literally trying to expand their borders into Middle Eastern countries and don't give a fuck about how it has stabilized the region. Just don't care. Why? Because I guess God gave it to them, the chosen people, right, guys?
Angry. I was a little bit perturbed at his constantly fighting with Lebanon. You know, at some point I said, Bibi, we got to stop this. We got to stop it. But I have a very good relationship. We've done well together. He always says.
You can pause it right there. Vinny, thoughts?
I think his relationship that he's talking about with Bibi is like watching a rich, powerful father deal with a spoiled son. Like the father gets mad, yells publicly, tells him to stop doing certain things, but the son knows deep down he's never actually going to get in any real trouble, Pat, and he's never going to get cut off. So he keeps testing the boundaries, keeps going, because he knows the father at the end of the day isn't going to do anything. I think that's what frustrates a lot of freaking Americans. And I love when people are like, you guys keep talking about Israel. No, it's because every time we turn, Israel's in the freaking news. Fighting, Trump, no, don't do this, do this. We're going to bomb, we're going to do it. It's this constant back and forth where the warnings don't seem like they have any real consequences, Pat. And one thing that bothers people, a lot of people are worried, Israel has nuclear weapons, okay? As much as everybody tries to tippy-toe, it's funny how every other country who has nukes, Pat, has to be in the non-proliferation treaty. You have to admit it because we have to have sanctions. There have to be inspections. Why does Israel get a pass? Does that bother anybody? What's their red line? If God forbid they use one in this war because Iran does something crazy, then what? Then what happens? Oh my God, a nuke went off in Israel. I'm sorry, a nuke went off in Iran. Who did it? Israel doesn't have nukes. They're not. Then what game are we playing? And Adam, for you to say Lebanon is little Iran, 40% of Lebanon are Christians that have nothing to do with.
Thank you, bro. Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that's wild as hell for Adam to say that. Oh, Lebanon is little Iran. Why? Because he's trying to convince people to like, oh no, it's okay that we're attacking Lebanon. It's okay that we're letting Israel displace 1.20. Actually, Israel has already displaced 1.2 million people. It's okay that we're letting Israel recklessly bomb Christians, Shia Muslims, and then probably other Jews as well. I'm gonna be real with you. It's like, it's all good. Why? Because Lebanon is little Iran. And you know, so funny, because guess what? If we go with this pattern, we're gonna be fighting Turkey next. I promise you. And the reason why I say that, because that's what Israel says. Whoever they call Iran is on the hit list. Even if Iran was to disappear today, trust me, Turkey's gonna be the new Iran. And well, apparently to keep, to justify actions in Lebanon, well, I guess Lebanon is now little Iran.
Hey, no. Yeah, why? Because they're all dead because they're getting bombed? No, there's a lot of.
What do you mean by that?
You're saying that there used to be what? No, right now Lebanon, it's 30 to 40% Christian. There's a lot of Christians.
What did they used to be?
Adam, I'm saying right now, you said it's little Iran. There's a lot of Christians there that aren't Muslim, that aren't even involved with any of this Shia or whatever that are affected. And again, it's always going to.
Yeah, but here's a crazy thing though. There are actually like Christians running to Hezbollah for help. Like, it's absolutely insane. And the reason why to run to Hezbollah for help is because, well, let's be real. Israel is bombing their homes, and Hezbollah is the only one that's stopping them. That's the sick part of that about Lebanon, is that Lebanon, the Lebanese army and the government kind of lets Israel do whatever they want. And well, not Hezbollah. Israel. So yeah, the Lebanese government let Israel do whatever they want. They didn't stop them when they were annexing land. They didn't send a single soldier. They let Hezbollah sit there and do it. So it's kind of crazy how Hezbollah is the only one that's actually defending Lebanese land when they have a whole army and the army just rolling over. And the funny thing is, it's kind of crazy because they're trying to get the army to disarm Hezbollah. And it's kind of just like, here's the thing. I mean, all right, cool. Let's get Hezbollah, disarmed. But here's the wild part. Why in God's name is Hezbollah the only person fighting for Lebanon's sovereignty? Like, what the hell is going on? Why are the terrorists fighting for sovereignty? What world am I living in where apparently these are supposed to be the terrorists, but they're the ones fighting for the sovereignty of Lebanon? Like, what the fuck is going on, guys? But I guess it is what it is. All right, let's get right back to it. While I find this article real quick.
To be the people.
What do you
and
mean?
Tom, you talked about the IRGC.
But I don't understand what you're trying to say.
There's a lot of Christians. You called it Little Iran. There's a lot of Christians.
And then
there.
why are all the Christians gone?
What do you mean? They're still there. They live there.
But it used to be 70% Christian. Why is it down to 30%?
You tell me.
No, you're the one that made the claim. I'm asking you. I know the answer.
Why? So tell me.
Before
tell me why.
I give you the answer, I'd like to hear your opinion.
Why are they moving, Adam?
Why would they want to move?
But what my question is to you, though. Yeah, because maybe there's bombs coming in, Adam.
From who?
Maybe there's bombs coming in. What do you mean? Israel's on a freaking campaign bombing Lebanon. So they're seizing land. It's not like, Adam, they're not
You think the
strategically.
Christians are leaving Lebanon because Israel's bombing them?
I would.
Yes, Israel is bombing them, so they're getting forced out of Lebanon, Adam. Like, what's so hard for you to understand about that? I mean, bro, we got it right here. Look, Christian villages in South Lebanon caught in crossfire because Israel's bombing them. And then, of course, while some Lebanese Christians historically allied with Hezbollah in the past, so yes, actually Hezbollah, yeah, guys, I mean, you may not notice, but they're actually Christian Hezbollah fighters. Though there still are. They say in the past, but no, there still are. Look, if you were to go into Hezbollah right now, you might find a couple Christians in there, okay? You'd be quite surprised. But yes, while some Lebanese Christians historically allied with Hezbollah in the past, such as aligning against ISIS to protect mutual interest in forming localized supportive pacts, the modern consensus is vastly different. Today, the majority of Lebanese Christians vehemently oppose Hezbollah, blaming the militant group for dragging the country into devastating conflicts. And yep, that's also true. So like I said, there's a split mentality about Hezbollah. Here's the thing. Those Christians that were opposing them, they on their side now that their house is getting bombed by Israel. Now they're going like, and here's the thing. These Christians that were vehemently opposed to Hezbollah, guess what? They can't even sit there and say that they're the ones getting dragged in. Hezbollah agreed to the ceasefire and Israel attacked them. So now these guys don't even have an argument to sit there and say that Hezbollah is dragging us in because Israel's the one who popped it off. Yeah, so this is just the sad reality of what's going on when you got Christians out there working with Hezbollah to protect their land because the Lebanese military is too coward to do so. Too cowardly. Don't know why, but I mean, I guess it's just F it. I really couldn't answer it for you guys. Trust me. I look into it a lot, and I just don't understand why they just roll over. Like, who's paying them?
Who's bombing?
Whoops.
Adam,
how familiar are you with the history of Lebanon? And it's okay to say not much.
I don't know that much. I'm just seeing what's happening in the news right now.
Okay. Well, it's not the Jews are not the reason, or Israel's not the reason that Christians are being persecuted in Lebanon. I'll give you one guess of who it is.
Go ahead.
Who do you think it is? It's the same reason that Egypt used to be Christian, that Syria used to be Christian, that Iraq used to be Christian. Your family is Christian, Assyrian. Who's running the country that you grew up in? Your family
it's always been Muslim.
Well,
Iran?
Not always.
What do you mean?
It used to be Zoroastrian. You're not realizing one simple thing. The Christians are being persecuted by the Muslims. No. The Christians are being right now bombed by sorry to say, but the Jews. All right, let me be nicer. By the Israelis. Yes, they're being bombed by the Israelis, bro. And now you got Christians running to Hezbollah for help. Like, do you see how effed up the situation is at this point? The Christians were basically taken over by the Muslims. Iraq, your people, Assyrians, I'm shocked you don't know this, were taken over by the Muslims. It's the same thing that happened in Lebanon. Lebanon is the one country in the Middle East where they actually were like, look, guys, let's try to do this experiment. Let's have Christians and Sunnis and Shias all get together. And then the Shia was like, nah. We're going to have a Hezbollah come in here and we're going to ruin everybody's life. No, let's tell it how it actually happened, Adam. Israel invaded southern Lebanon, and because Israel was trying to take southern Lebanon and Lebanon's army was just going to let them do it, Hezbollah formed. That's why they exist. It's not there because Iran just came into the scene and says, oh yeah, F Israel, let's just round up against Israel. No, Israel created Hezbollah through their aggression. They did the same thing with Hamas. So let's not sit here and just pretend like Iran just popped into the picture and then Hezbollah came with. No, Hezbollah was there first since the 80s. Dealing with you guys. But all right, though. And Sunnis and Shias all get together. And then the Shia was like, nah. We're going to have a Hezbollah come in here and we're going to ruin everybody's life, including the Christians, including the Sunnis, and these people in Israel, them too. So my correction for you is learn your history and realize that the problem going on in Lebanon.
Oh wow, you condescending dick. Like, I do hate when people hit me with the learn your history and they be wrong as hell. Like, dog, you are the wrong as hell for that. Like, first off, you didn't even mention the part where the whole reason why Hezbollah existed was because of Israel invading Lebanon in the 80s. Like, why are you downplaying that? That's the whole reason why Hezbollah even existed. If Israel never invaded Lebanon, Hezbollah would not be here today. Iran would be having no militant group to pour their money into. So you're just going to forget all that, and you're going to forget that that literally Hezbollah is a creation of Israeli aggression. Like, are you serious? You're just going to sit there and blame it all on Islam. It has nothing to do with the constant bombardment of the Lebanese people. Nothing at all to do with that. It's just all Islam, right? Isn't it crazy how they just blame everything on Islam instead of the bombs that we dropped on them? I mean, isn't that crazy?
Is not Israel. There's problems there. So, don't get me wrong. Okay. But the reason the Christians are being persecuted is because of the intolerant, basically radical cleric
pattern. When you don't want to sit there and admit that Israeli intervention or aggression or U.S. intervention or aggression is a cause of a problem, just blame Islam. If you don't want to admit that, and that's what I'm starting to notice the pattern here. When you want to sit there and just reject that argument, just blame Islam.
And the Shiite terrorists that have taken over and hijacked their country, just like they've done in Iran. That's what's going on.
Well, my question is, so the Christians that are there right now.
What I just said?
Yes. But so my question to you is, you still go to my point, the 30 to 40%, let's say almost 38% that are Christian there right now, that the lives were just okay. They were just chilling. They're not getting murdered in Lebanon. Pat, I know people, by the way, the show that I'm doing today is with my friend Jack Jr., his dad. They're all from Lebanon. Yeah. They're not under attack and everything. Right now, his family's worried because there's bombings coming from Israel and they're taking over.
Ben, I love you. I'm just going to say this.
Well, can I finish?
What I want you to do, take a second. Don't be emotional. No. Do your research on what actually happened in Lebanon. Do you remember when the podcast we had Bridget Gabrielle on?
Yes. Yeah, y'all attacked them.
She's the Middle Eastern.
Yeah, you guys attack Lebanon, thus creating Hezbollah. And then here's the thing, even in modern day, you guys were in a ceasefire with Hezbollah and you attacked them. Bro, Hezbollah didn't attack you. You guys attacked them while we were attacking Iran together. So what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, this ain't got really nothing to do with Islamists. This ain't really got nothing to do with like Iran. Bro, you guys attack Hezbollah and now what? They weren't supposed to attack back? Like, do you hear yourselves?
Middle Eastern, but what's her story?
Adam, I don't know her whole story.
Well, come on, then don't comment on this if you don't know.
Adam,
what the fuck, bro? Yeah, see, this is why Adam got cooked by Dave Smith. He can only pull this condescending bullshit on PBD. And I don't even know why PBD even lets him get off with this. Because as soon as he goes outside the platform, he looks like a complete dumbass.
As a Christian, what's happening right now. Okay. Right now, because you said little Iran. You think Christians that are sitting in Lebanon right now consider themselves little Iran?
All right, guys. Make sure to smash the like button, guys. Appreciate the support. Make sure to smash that like button. Double tap the screen. If you have any questions, comment, jokes, or disagreements, feel free to send in a Venmo, Super Chat, or Rumble Rant. Let's see here. Yeah, we got a little bit more.
Iran? Like, why would you call them little Iran?
Because Hezbollah has taken over their country. I encourage you to watch what Bridget Gabrielle always says. She's a Christian, one of your people. Shout out to the Christians that was basically born in.
Not really. You got to remember, it's a militant group. They're there to fight off Israel just in case. So you can't really say Hezbollah took over the country because the country is still ran by, a Christian Lebanese leader who honestly I don't really have no respect for because he sits there and lets people's land get taken and leave it up to terrorists to defend it, which is wild, by the way. But I mean, he is a Christian leader, I guess. I mean, whatever that really means. I mean, I'm just be rude. I have no respect for him. I mean, he's a shame on Christians. I mean, bro, look what you let happen into your country because you want to show for Israel. But it is what it is.
In Lebanon and had to flee. She didn't. And where did she flee to? She fled to Israel because basically she was being persecuted for being Christian in her own country. So I encourage you, do some research. Okay. Find out really the history of Lebanon, of why they basically were the Paris of the Middle East, and now they're in this situation here during with a Hezbollah takeover. I encourage you to do your research before you start just blaming it on the Jews.
So who said? See, and that's how the argument turns.
That's literally what you said.
No, bro, are you serious? He didn't even say that. You jumped to that because I think Adam knows better at this point. Because let's be real, you do got to blame Israel if you want to talk about Hezbollah. And I think that's why they always say, oh, you got to blame the Jews for everything. No, bro. Like, let's look at history. This is y'all fault. This is literally, bro, just like how ISIS is our fault, bro, Hezbollah is y'all. Just through our intervention and our aggression in the Middle East created ISIS. Bro, y'all intervention in Lebanon, aggression in Lebanon created Hezbollah. What's so hard to understand about that? It's like, bro, it's okay. It is y'all fault. Don't sit there and gaslight us about it.
No, you
That's
said
literally
Iran.
what you said.
I blamed it. See,
Vinny,
but
watch this clip again.
do you see that argument that you just did? You see what you just did? Blaming it on the Jews. That's where you take the. Where
So who did you blame it
Jews
on?
or anything? No. I'm
You blamed
saying
it on Israel.
No. What did I blame on Israel? Israel.
Vinny, I love you.
I mean, you kind of got to. It's like, bro, Adam is damn near setting up the argument of like, oh, I'm willing to hear you out, but you can't blame it on Israel when Israel's literally the person that's to blame. Well, not the person, but the country to blame. It's like you're pretty much saying that, oh, like, I know it's Israel, but you can't talk about it. Or, oh, if you say it's Israel, then I'm rejecting the argument, even though all signs point to Israel. But okay. I mean, whatever, bro. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it on this one. I'm going to be back later on. Got to go ahead and handle some things real quick. But all right, guys, make sure to double tap that screen or smash that like button on your way out, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel while you're at it, guys. This is Set with Set Media. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Noah! Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just...
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
Larry!